Hopefully, y'all having a blessed, wonderful day. All is well with you. Hopefully, God has been good in your life. And if you know Him, He probably more likely has been, unless you're just not paying attention to His handwork. But it is what it is. Um, we're gonna see how many people read the room. I get on here and I act the fool a lot, but we're just gonna see how many people read the room. More likely none. But we shall see. As you come in, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. A little bit different of a video. Try not to argue with y'all. um, to get some things out of the way a little bit. Today is Tuesday, so later on today, if you're on this live, I'll try to remember to mention it again later on today. But um, 7 o'clock p.m. on the OG Network, which is this YouTube channel right here. We're working on some things. We'll have top to bottom Tuesdays, where the CEO of top to bottom Herring Skincare Products, who also makes wonderful candles, will be on my channel live. They'll discussing their products, the ingredients. They'll do it live so that people can come in on the chat and be able to ask questions if they have any questions or about the hair care and skincare products that they make. I will get into the dividend aspect of what this video live is about, but just to kind of get y'all an idea where of the things that are coming up. So today at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have the CEO again. This is a standing appointment. So every Tuesdays, which we call top to bottom Tuesdays, they come in, the company, the CEO comes in on my channel live and give people a chance to listen to the products, hear about the products, ask questions in the chat, whatever, concerning if they have a hair care, skincare issues, maybe they can help with that, whatever case may be. But so y'all know, and y'all get a chance to do that. The other thing is, that's in it. The other thing is on Sundays at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, again, because we on the East Coast. Nah, I don't live in Texas. No, I did not serve in the military, but I have nothing but all due respect to all my military. Most of my family members, my uncles and stuff, they all served in the military in some form or fashion. So I have a lot of respect and regards for all of our veterans and people that serve in the military, whatever capacity that is. Salute to all of y'all. PA, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is where I'm at, but we ain't that far from Texas, as it relates to why you said that. But yeah, Pennsylvania is a gun state too. Like I don't know, a lot of people don't realize that, but Pennsylvania has an open carry law. Okay, Mark, you in Pennsylvania too? Oh, okay, cool. Media, I know that. I know where media is at. It's not that. Actually, I think you outside of Philly. Just for real, how you doing? God bless you. He said Pennsylvania is very boring. I'm ready to get up out of here. Yeah, Pennsylvania is one of those states that a lot more gun friendly, as the so would say, except for, I understand what I'm saying, except for Philadelphia. Philadelphia thinks they special for some reason and they have a different. But if you're on this live, please hit the like button. Appreciate it very, very much. Please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very much. I know that if you look at the title of the video, I was talking about what's up, dirty money, what's going on. I was talking about it. Reason why I brought up dividend investing. The other thing is the Feds. I believe it's tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's tomorrow, the 29th. We're gonna get interest rates. They're gonna be talking about interest rates. I hope I got it right tomorrow, but I should have went and checked it again just to make sure. Well, you can't conceal. Pennsylvania has an open carry law, meaning you can open carry. But if you want to conceal your weapon, you have to go get a permit for that, which is not that hard. You have to go get a permit to conceal carry. But far as that go, you can open carry. You just can't. If you're going to conceal it, you have to go get a permit to conceal carry in the state of Pennsylvania. But you can open carry. Oh, okay, yeah. He said Andrew Peterson said he was from Philadelphia, but yeah. Okay, you got a PP. Yeah, the Pennsylvania concealed carry permit. It's, I believe, is recognized in 34 states across the country. If I'm not mistaken, I think Pennsylvania's concealed carry. I have a Pennsylvania concealed carry license, and I believe it's represent. You can they honor it in 34 other states. So, and where we get it, you can actually go look it up. But I think it's like 32 or 34 other states in the state of Pennsylvania that honor it. Um, I don't have the complexion for the protection. Good luck. That's a very, very ignorant statement. And I'm explaining you why. I'm not saying that you're ignorant, but you said I don't have the complexion for protection. Let me explain something to you. And this is based off of my complexion. Um, my and as you relate to the skin color of mine. Let me explain something to you. This is exactly why. This is one of the reasons why you should take advantage of your right to keep and bear arms. Stop letting people fearmonger you and to think that you can't have the right to keep and bear arms. So this is where we start to make the mistake of listening to mostly Democratic politicians and stuff like that, or the hype and stuff like that. Listen, what I'm trying to tell you. I have my firearm with me all the time. I have them with me all the time. I conceal my carry. I carry it all the time. I don't sit there and walk around afraid of who gonna say when I have a weapon. See, this is how they fearmonger you into believing that you don't have the right to keep and bear arms. The more of us that actually do it the right way, the more of us that show our strength, and it doesn't matter what your skin color, but the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because they actually pointed out my skin complexion. This is why you're supposed to have it. One of the reasons, just in case you run into something like that, which is rare, but still, this is why you should. This is why you should. Because my thing is this: the right to keep and bear arms is against government tyranny. And I know we're supposed to be talking about dividends, but no one ever did. The reason why I put that there because I really wanted to see was anybody gonna really read the room. And clearly they did not. They just came in, seen guns, and let's go. But it's cool. We ain't got to go that route. I can always go in and change the title. But he said you better have real ID. Again, how many times y'all gonna let government overstep their boundaries in your life? See, this is where the right to, I really believe that a lot of people should go back and watch history and learn history of why we have the Second Amendment. Why? This is the reason why you have it. Just in case government try to control. How many times y'all watch movies that showing government trying to control people? But yet you keep listening to these people tell you you don't need it. You don't need this. You don't need that. Listen, anyone on my live, number one, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. But this is the thing. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. The reason why you should have access to the best weapons possible, just in case any of those type of things that y'all seem to be so concerned about actually does start to take place. Rather is government tyranny, or in some cases when they talk about my skin, someone trying to attack you or come after you because of your skin. If a group of people came to me because of my skin and I don't have nothing, Or I have what the government tell me I should have 5 rounds in my clip. People who have bad intentions don't care about none of that. They can care less about none of that. So my thing is, stop allowing people to tell you what them. When it comes to your protection, you are the number one responsible for your own personal protection. You should never let government tell you what type of weapons you should have access to, because the only reason why they want to limit your access is not to protect you, it's to control you. That's what it is. Anytime you hear a politician start talking about you don't need this and you don't need that to protect you, that's not to protect you. That's to control you. Because if they came and listen, if COVID haven't taught y'all anything, it should have taught you this one. I have one of them a 458 and one's a 556. That one's Black Rain, and the other one is kind of somebody that kind of puts them together. Got at the gun show. It's not really like a high power company or whatever. But again, you should not let somebody, a politician who you voted for, or maybe didn't, but they still vote, they elected officials. We don't, in America, we don't have kings. We don't have rulers. The president of the United States is the chief of staff, but he's not a king and he's not a ruler. The United States Constitution and the way that our system is set up does not give him kingship rulership. It only comes when, that's the reason why the people that was out there protesting no kings was actually allowed to actually protest no kings. Because if we had a king or a ruler or a dictator, he could have easily put a stop to that. See, this is how idiotic that sounds. This is how idiotic that was. You're saying that in a country that you're actually able to protest. Try that somewhere where they don't allow, when you really have a dictator or you really have someone that's a, that's a king or ruler, and you go out there and you protest against the king. You go out there and you protest against the dictator or the ruler. At that point, that dictator and that ruler is going to shut all that down. You're going to get retribution because of what you did. You protest the king. But because y'all was allowed to do that and nothing happened to y'all, clearly tells you that we are not under kingship or rulership. But that's how idiotic that was. You actually prove that he wasn't one, because nothing happened when you did it. They say that's the point of the protest. It's the point protest no kings. But my point is, if we had kings and rulers, you wouldn't have never been able to do that. He's already the president. He's been there for so many months. They already knew what y'all intended to do, but yet no one stopped you. That tells you that you have the freedom to protest because there's no king or no ruler or no dictator. You just, all the people that went out there and protest just proved that we're not under rulership and dictatorship. Just proved it by going out there and protest. Even though they're saying that that's what it's for. But the reality of it is, if you really think about it, you just proved that he wasn't. He said, and they wanted to stay that way. You see what's behind me? Having access to the best weapons possible is how it stays that way. Going out there and protest, let me explain something to you how that don't stop nothing. What if, let's say he was going to be one. What if he decided to be one at that moment and he started sending the military and they started executing everybody out there? How was you going to fight back? See, the way to form a militia is, or organized militia, is in quiet and it's in secret. Just in case something happened, we are prepared to fight back. I'm one person. I'm one. All right, let me ask you a question. What if I'm one person with a firearm or one person without one? What is my better choice? If I'm one person with the firearm or one person without a firearm, what is my better choice? Somebody said Trump ain't my Lord and Savior. Heck to the no, though. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Trump is, I voted for him, but he ain't my Lord and Savior. Heck to the nizzo. I like Trump, but he ain't my Lord and Savior. He ain't nowhere near what I'm my Lord and Savior. Jesus Christ is mine, not Trump. He's the president, and that's about as far as he goes. The Black Rambo. What's up from Texas? Now, here's the thing. Walter, you're right. If you don't have a group, you're more likely. That's the reason why you're supposed to form a militia, a well-regulated militia, just in case you have government tyranny. This is the beauty of having unified communities. This is the beauty of getting to know who your neighbors are, getting to know how your family is, organizing as a family, as a group, running drills, making sure that you are prepared. Everybody know the plan just in case this happens. See, the thing is, most people walk around oblivious to the fact that they might not never happen. Now, on here, it's just me. But don't think for 1 minute that there ain't more that's ready if that ever happens. Is my point. Squeeze don't pour, gentlemen. Now, I can close it, but it's up there for this display. When all this is said and done, I take it all down and pack it all up. So, yes, Trump is the greatest president. In my lifetime, I think he is the greatest president. But, you know, that's subject to other people's opinion. But as far as the firearms go, I take them down. I pack everything up. It doesn't stay there. All of it goes back into the cages. But this is why you should not let politicians tell you what you should have and what you should not have. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not interested in Trump having a third term as president. And I said this before. I said I would be okay with him coming in as a VP and letting someone else run. I don't want Congress. I don't want no politicians having more in any form of government. I don't want any politician having more than 8 years in any form of government. I want them after 8 years. I want them totally going out of any form of government, because in my opinion, you stay too long, you become corrupt. This is my opinion. You stay too long, you become corrupt. So I don't want. Although I voted for Trump and I want Trump and I agree with Trump with what he's doing, I think 8 years is about more than enough time. And after 8 years, I think you should be you may be in some other form of capacity or whatever, but I really honestly think you should get out of politics altogether, because I think that it becomes too organized and too corrupt. And this is where I personally have a problem with. Mike and Mike Miller, what's going on? God bless you. Welcome in. If you're on this live, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Lucy, how you doing? God bless you. God bless you. And my thing is, Walter, we're by far better off with Trump. By far. See, my thing is this, is that I don't think a lot of people realize how America operates and how America works. And I think a lot of times when people start hearing somebody, they hear all the rhetoric coming from one side and all the rhetoric come from, they don't actually pull themselves out of it and actually pay attention to both sides and what makes common sense. No, and my point to this, you got all of these Democrats are fighting for illegal immigrants, right? But the very same people that are fighting for legal immigrants are not putting them in their houses, are not splitting the bill to take care of them. See, they want to exploit these illegal immigrants so that they can go have them work for next to nothing and make profits off of them. This is what a lot of these Democratic politicians want. I know y'all don't believe this, but this is what's going on. The other thing is this: you don't let people just walk into your country, just like you don't let people just walk into your home. You give them permission. And where they get the permission from the people that you elect to protect you, and they're not even doing that part. My thing is this: when the Biden administration was in office, and Kamala Harris, who was the head of the border czar, when they allow all of these people to come into this country, you got to understand something. That should have never happened. That was an invasion. If somebody stormed into your home that way, what would you do? If someone stormed into your home, what would you do? The very same way they came rushing across that border. What would you do if someone stormed your home and started consuming all of the stuff in your house that way? Somebody said no one's illegal. Yes, they are. Because we have laws that says if you cross that border without permission, you broke the law. Now you might not you might not be illegal when it comes to being on earth. So if you said no one's illegal, you got a home? Do you have a home? So anybody can just walk in and out of your home without permission, without permission. So the people that said no one's illegal. So you can just let anybody walk into your home without your permission. Then it's not your home. That's the whole point. If they can just walk in and out your home and take your home and do everything that they're doing, then it's not your home. It's not yours. It's not your place of residence. You paying for it, but it ain't yours. It is the same thing. Your country is the same. Your home is in your country. So if they invade your home, I mean, here's where this stupidity comes. If they invade your country, eventually they're going to take over your home. It is exactly the same thing. But see, what happens is you're supposed to stop it at the border. Not letting, just like if you see somebody about to come and attack your home, invade your home, and you just stand there and let it happen, you're a coward. If you just stand there and let somebody invade your country, and you just stand there and let it happen, eventually it's going to make it to your door. And then they're going to consume all of the things in your country that were supposed to have been for you. Or they're going to consume up all the resources in your country that were supposed to have been for you because you born and raised here and they wasn't. They're not supposed to be here. That's the whole point. It's just like an invasive species that come into somewhere where they wasn't naturally supposed to be. What happens when an invasive species comes somewhere where they ain't supposed to be? They cause problems. Now you got to try to get rid of this invasive species. So when someone invades your country and they're not supposed to be here, that becomes a problem. They need to go back. We walk in on Native Americans. Okay. How long ago did that happen? How long ago did that happen? And why? And my thing is this. Again, I'm not saying it is right because technically speaking, I am actually Native American. Technically speaking, I am actually Native American. You might not believe me, but I actually am. But here's where you get it. Here's where you get it twisted at. If the Native Americans would have had access to the better weapons, they probably would have been able to put a stop to that. They would have probably been able to put a stop to that. This is exactly why I don't want nobody invading my country. I can't help what's already here. I can't change what happened historically wise, but I can damn well learn from it and try to prevent it. I can learn from it and try to prevent it. And the way you do that is having access to the best weapons possible and not allow government to tell you what you can and cannot have. And stop voting for politicians that talk that way because they're not talking in the sense of your protection. They're talking in the sense of controlling you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed you are that you're not white. Why would I want to be white? First of all, there's no such thing as white, and nor is there such thing as black. Neither is there such thing as skin color from the way y'all always trying to put it, but unfortunately, we talk this way because that's what people talk about. But you show me a person that's actually white, then we can have this conversation. And you can show me a person that's actually black, we can actually have this conversation. Show it. Show me a person that matches the white color that's actually white. You mean people that come from European? Or people that come from Africa? Because Africans don't call themselves black. They say they're African. Jamaicans aren't black. They say that they're Jamaican. I'm not black nor white. I'm American who happen to have melanated skin. Who happen to have melanated skin. So you need to do a little bit more research, because you're going to find out that every living thing has to adapt to its environment. Every living thing adapts to its environment. You think it's about skin color. That's why when you take a person that's darker, have a darker colored skin, and you put them into a cold climate, what happens to their skin? It starts to ash up. Why? Because it's not used to that environment and it's trying to adjust. The same way if you put somebody who has pale skin into sun too much, eventually what happens to their sun? Their skin starts to cook and darken up. Why? Because it's trying to survive in the elements. See, someone told you your skin matters, and it don't. Someone told you your skin matter, and it don't. I'm black, no matter what I say. I guarantee, listen, let me tell you this much. For people that say that I'm black, no matter what I say, no one gets to determine who I am but me. Once I was born, and once I started getting my brain and everything that started developing me, then I determined who I was as it relates to my relationship with God. So someone convinced you that you are black. Someone convinced you, whatever color you are, someone told you was that. You didn't pick that up on your own. You didn't decide that by yourself. Someone told you what you was, and you believed them. They told you what you was, and you believed them. And you believed them to so much that you could not think anything different. You can't even get your head out of it because you believed them. If the KKK see me, and let me explain something to you. I've been around racist people and I ain't afraid of nobody. My fear is only to God. That's it. See, the KKK, listen, I'm be honest with you, I ain't seen KKK members in so long, I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know where they are. But let me explain something to you. I'm not afraid of the KKK or no other gang. See, again, this is why I take advantage of the right to keep and bear arms. Because they're going to do it. If there's a KKK out there, wherever they are, they're going to do it. Why wouldn't you? They're going to have them. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? This is how stupid that sounds. These are the very same people that say you shouldn't have access to weapons, but then still turn around and start talking about the KKK. But the same government, and y'all listening to them telling you shouldn't have this. See, I ain't concerned about that. I'm very well prepared if that happens. I've probably had 100. I ain't gonna say 100 because that's a bit. But I love it when they come in here and call me Uncle Ruckus and all of the stupid stuff that they call me, because they hate the fact that I'm a person that has a brain of my own. I don't follow the crowd. I don't follow what they do. See, the thing about it is you wish you could be me. You wish you had enough heart and enough kahunas to go against the normal as it relates to the Democratic Party, because they don't want to keep telling y'all that. You wish. See, they would love to be like me, who stand on his own. They would love it. who benefit from America and not sitting there worrying about and complaining about. They would love to be like me. But they ain't got it in them because they're afraid. They cowards. They would love to be like me. They would love to be able to talk this comfortably about owning firearms. They would love to be able to talk this comfortably about not being afraid of government. They would love to be able to talk this comfortably without being able to, about the Second Amendment. They would love it. But they can't because they cowards. They need to hide with the crowd because I don't want to be afraid to step out the crowd. They're afraid to step out the crowd. I'm delusional. I'm delusional. I get to do whatever I want when I want, but I'm delusional. See, when they told y'all to go stay in the house, when they did that COVID stuff, I didn't stop doing nothing I was doing. I looked at them like I got pulled over and everything. I said, "No, what do you want? You know, don't tell me where I'm supposed to be. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do." And you know what they did? They got back in their car and they left. Why? Because they knew I knew better. See, I knew that was government tyranny at its best in America. But y'all was too afraid. They told y'all not to go to your church. Y'all stopped going to church. They told y'all not to do this and not to do that, and y'all did it. And y'all still afraid to go load up and have best weapons possible to protect yourself just in case they decide to do it again. Still got y'all believing that stuff. Meanwhile, the pharmaceutical companies made billions of dollars off of y'all being afraid. But I'm the delusional one. Never took none of that stuff. Never took none of that stuff. Got threatened on the job. Oh, you got no, then let me know when I'm fired because I ain't afraid. God takes care of me, not man. God provides for me, not man. And I ain't missed a beat the whole time. Never took nothing from the government. All that money they were trying to hand out, I ain't had no part taking none of it. And I was still good. I was still 100% good. Why? Because I knew the lie and I saw the lie. But guess what ended up happening? I got paid off of it. Why? Because I knew y'all was going to do falling traps. I knew the vast majority of y'all was going to fall for it. And you know what I did? I went and bought Moderna. I went and bought Moderna stock. I went and bought Johnson & Johnson stock. I went and bought Pfizer stock because I knew the game. I went and bought Gilead Science stock. I knew the game. While y'all was running around taking it, I was making it, making the money from it. Because I knew that these politicians were lying the whole time. I knew that they was corrupt the whole time. Meanwhile, Pfizer profited $5 billion off a so-called free vaccine. Pfizer alone profited $5 billion in 1 year off a so-called free vaccine. Now they got all people running around here with all types of health problems. Blood clots and all types of stuff happening. And every time I try to tell somebody don't do it, guess what? They did. They still did it because they was afraid. That's the only reason why most people got it, because they was afraid of their livelihood being taken away from them. And I don't knock nobody for doing it. I understand. I actually sympathize. I actually sympathize. I'm not going to tell you that part, but I tell you this much. I got Moderna at $22 a share and sold it at $400. I give it to you that way. I got Moderna at $20-something a share and sold it at $400, or almost $400. I got Pfizer at $20-something a share and sold it at $60-something a share. And if you don't believe what I'm talking about, go look it up and look at the history. You'll find out what I'm talking about. That's how you find out. Let me tell you something. That shot did more damage than I can imagine. I had my own mother ended up with all these blotches all over her skin. And I knew where it came from, and I couldn't tell her. I knew it. I knew exactly where it came from because I already seen the evidence. And I could not say nothing to her. I just had to let it go. Even though I warned, even though I tried to plead, even though I did, and they still did it. That was their choice. And guess what? Nothing I can do about it. I'm just glad I didn't. I'm so glad I didn't. I'm so glad I stood my ground. And listen, don't get me wrong. I sympathize with anybody that had to go through that. Now, so a lot of people might be okay with it. That's cool. That's fine. That is 100% fine. I don't knock nobody for doing what they had to do to provide and take care of their family. I think you did have to do what you had to do. But the reality of it is that they were flat out wrong for what they did. The government and the Biden administration, that was tyranny at its worst. All of what they did was government tyranny, threatening people's jobs, threatening people's livelihoods, get collusion with the companies and making sure that they was able to do it, and have these companies all jump on board, threatening companies and all of these regulations, everything that they was doing to push the companies to do it was all government tyranny. All of it. And nobody paid attention to that part. It was tyranny. And they still trying to do it. That's why they want back control. That's why the Democrat Party is screaming and howling and having fits right now. It's because they were almost there. And it's all been dismantled now. Now they got to start back from square one. It's all about control. When they start talking about you don't need this type of firearm and you don't need that and you don't need, listen, it's all about controlling your life. That's what it is. It's about controlling your life. It ain't about nothing else but being able to tyrannically control your life. Democrats want communism. They can taste it. Democrats want communism. They can taste it. If you look at their policies and everything that they're trying to do, it is exactly what that is. See, the thing about it is that they want to disarm American citizens because that is the biggest threat to the politicians, is that just like we show power, strength through power, it's the same way the citizens show our strength to power. That's why you're supposed to have access to the best weapons possible. Don't ever trust the government to do right by you. And I don't care what administration is in there. Even the one that's in there right now. Even though I voted for them. Even though I am 100% happy with what the job that the president is doing. I am not ignorant, still to the point to say that he can be one. The only thing I trust 100% is God, not man. Because at any moment he can switch up too. That's what this is. This is why you need to have access to the best weapons possible. For that very reason alone. Don't tell me that a man is going to be a dictator and then in the same tongue tell me I don't need access to certain weapons. I don't need automatic weapons, but yet you telling me it's going to be a dictator. You telling me he's going to be a dictator, but then you also telling me I don't need to have an AR-15 automatic weapon, which AR ain't the automatic weapon, but my point is, has nothing to do with it. I know they don't know what they're talking about because AR don't mean automatic weapon, but again, you're telling me he's going to be a dictator. And in the same tongue, you telling me I don't need access to these type of weapons. You telling me he's going to be like Hitler. This is what they say. He's going to be like Hitler. All right, so you telling me he's going to be like Hitler, right? Now, we know what Hitler did to accomplish it. The first thing Hitler did was went to and ask people to, oh, you don't need all your weapons, volunteer to turn them in. That's what Hitler did. He had people volunteer to turn them in. And the ones that didn't, he went to their gun registry to find out who all had weapons, and then they started going house to house to get the rest of them. And then what happened? The very same person that they trusted turned around and did what he did to them. That's how he pulled it off. So every time you hear a politician talk about what you don't need when it comes to weapons, you should not vote for them, Democrat or Republican. The minute they say you don't need this weapon, you don't need access to that weapon, you don't need access to this weapon, the minute they start talking that way, I don't care what state you in, New Jersey especially, New York especially, all of you states that allowing these Democratic politicians to limit your access to certain weapons, you need to stop voting for them and put people in office that are gun-friendly people, that are Second Amendment people. Because if you don't, you're going to be put under government tyranny. This is what's going to happen. And if that shutdown did not show you anything else, it should have told you that. It should have told you that. It should have told you that 100%. Listen, I don't believe that owning a weapon makes a person violent, because I'm not violent. That's why I tell people there's no such thing as gun violence. Guns don't have personalities. Guns don't have legs and arms. They can't do nothing without some violent mentality person picking them up and doing something evil and corrupt with it, right? They're a tool. Just like other tools, they're a tool. And they have a purpose. And they're used for a lot of things. But when I hear politicians say, oh, we need to curb gun violence, I look at them and I say, oh, you still thinking guns and violence are related to each other. But there's a reason why they say gun violence. Because they want the people in their community to equate guns and violence together. So that they can manipulate your mind into believing that if a person has a gun, they're automatically violent. I want you to hear what I'm saying. They want you to believe that if a person has a gun, they automatically is violent. Meanwhile, police officers have guns. Military has guns. And people walk around with guns in a lot of states and nobody even see it. The only people that's violent when they have guns is the ones you keep telling that guns and violence go together. Because listen, I'm a gun head. I know a lot of gun heads. Never once do they talk about, oh, I can't wait to get my gun out there and hurt somebody with. That has never been the topic of a conversation. Never once did I'm sitting down with all my gun people that done like firearms and stuff, do they say, man, I can't wait to get my gun and go out and shoot people. Never is that the topic of conversation. I've shot thousands of rounds through my firearms and no one has ever gotten hurt. You know why? Because I have zero intentions of hurting somebody with a firearm. So stop equating guns and violence together. You think these movies are done for a reason the way they are? To make you believe those two go together. And they don't. But they're a great tool to defend yourself from somebody that's like that. It is one of the greatest tools ever invented to defend yourself from somebody that's like that. Listen, bad people are going to have access to weapons because they're not going to follow the law. So why would you write laws to make it complicated for good people? Listen to what I'm saying. Bad people is not going to follow the law. They still going to have it. They still going to go get weapons. Why would you make it more complicated for good people who work and live their life every single day to have access to the best weapons possible to defend themselves against bad people? Because the police ain't going to be there. You are. No one's going to let you call 911 and then the police show up later. That don't work that way. But every time they write these laws, it becomes more complicated for everyday citizens to have access to the best weapons possible. It has nothing to do with criminals. Zero. Because criminals don't care. They're not going through the system to do what they're doing. Those laws, that's why I say all gun laws are unconstitutional. Those laws is written in a way to make you go through heaps and bounds as an everyday hardworking citizen to make hopefully you give up and not even get one. Good morning, 7100. Jonah, good morning. Those politicians are saying that, and they're writing these rules to make it complicated for everyday citizens to have firearms, so that it'd be so complicated or so expensive you'll give up on it and not do it. That's what that is. It don't affect criminals, because criminals are not doing that. Criminals are not doing that. They're not going to the gun stores, and they're not doing none of that type of stuff. And you're right, Joyce. If you give up your arms and your right to keep and bear arms, if you give up your firearms, at that point, you have no defense. That means that at that point, the government can do whatever they want to do to you. But the United States of America, the citizens of the United States of America, across the board, it is estimated that there is over 100 million guns. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. It is estimated, might be more than that there's 100 guns to every one citizen. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to repeat that part. It is estimated that there is 100 guns to every one citizen in the United States of America. If owning a gun was that violent, we've been wiped out already. If there was 100 guns to every one citizen, there'll be no more citizens if guns was that violent. If having a gun was violent, if guns were violent, and there was 100 guns to one citizen, there'll be no more citizens. We'd be gone. Done. Yep. And the communists, you don't probably own nothing. And that's my point. I never think about hurting nobody with a firearm. I never think about shooting nobody, killing nobody. I have zero. I hope and pray that there never is a moment in my life where I ever have to use it. And that's real talk. Other than me enjoying it, going to the range, enjoying it, doing stuff like that, maybe some hunting. But never in my life will I ever want to have to use it on another human being. Don't mean I won't. But I never want to have to use it. I would never, ever, ever want to use it. And any time I talk to people that are gun owners, responsible gun owners, no one ever talk. They all talk the same way. That's why if you look at gun safety training, they all train the same thing. Keep your hand off that trigger, and if you ain't ready to shoot whatever it is in front of you, don't ever put your hand on that trigger. That's why they say assume every gun is loaded, because you don't even want to accidentally hurt nobody. That's my whole point. Making sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it very, very much. No, I did not hear that, Joyce. I mean, that's good for me because I own a decent amount of Ford stock. I mean, I wish I had more, but it is what it is. Somebody said no guns, no violence. So what happens to all the people that got stabbed? Somebody said no guns, no violence. See how stupid that statement is? So what happens to all the people that got ran over by cars, ran over, stabbed by knives? So I guess you're going to take away the knives and take away the cars and all the other stuff and the hammers that people got hammered to death with. That's how stupid that is. They just going to go find another weapon. Hey, Queen, how you doing? God bless you. God bless you. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Yes, everything is going well for me, and hopefully everything is going well for you. Hopefully all is good. Yeah, some of the family in the chat. Joyce is in the chat. Just for real was in the chat for a little bit. But good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, but I ain't going to Korea. Nope, I ain't going to Korea. Nope. I already know. Y'all, I don't like the way y'all live neither. I ain't doing nothing like that. I love my country. Listen, I don't even want to visit nowhere else. I know other people may do. I'm good. I'm good right here in America. I don't want no parts of no other country. I don't even want to visit. I ain't trying to visit. And I know people go vacation, they fly here, fly there. I'm not that one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm good right here in my country. It's enough for me to see right here in America. I ain't trying to go to nobody else's country. Real talk. And that's just me personally. I'm good. It's enough for me to see right here in America. I won't live long enough to see all the stuff in America. I ain't trying to visit nobody's country. I'm good. I'm good. Listen, I ain't trying to go to. When I say that, I be like, oh, you should go. I know. I ain't trying to go to Jamaica. I ain't trying to go none of them places. Yeah, I never picked up a World War II rifle, but I believe you because the steel that they used back then was like overkill. Oh wow! So that group that they deported was 400 Koreans and not Chinese. My thing is this: why were they here if Korea is so great? What you here for? He said, how do you suggest a way to address the violence then? Good question. Very good question. Now, here's where it's a very unpopular way, but this is one of the ways I am. This is what I want y'all to do. Listen, there's a guy. Now, here's the thing. We know that a lot of the gun violence happening in the inner city. And this is where I personally believe how you fix how you help with the violence that's happening when people are taking firearms and doing the wrong thing. You need to be educated of why we have them. Number one, there's a guy right now that does. I forget his name, but it's Black Guns Matter. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Black Guns Matter. If you don't remember what I'm saying, come back to this thing. Black Guns Matter. This guy he's a black guy. I think he's out of Philadelphia, and this is what he does. He educates people on civics. Like you're not like the Constitution and stuff like that, and he educates people on firearms. And guess what? He don't charge. He takes donations to do what he's doing, but he don't charge to do it. Now I follow him, but what I'm trying to tell you is that his approach, and I'm not going to tell you my approach, his approach to curbing violence in these neighborhoods by educating people on the proper use and why they have firearms, in my opinion, is by far one of the best approaches there is out there. So if you go look up Black Guns Matter, follow his movement, get into what he's doing. If you know somebody that want to be educated on guns, want to learn about guns, about civics and stuff like that, believe me, and listen, I'm telling you that I know a lot, but I'm telling you that this guy, his approach, and that's why I'm not going to tell y'all what my idea is. I'm going to tell you to go to his approach because he's doing exactly what I would probably want to do myself. So I would tell you to go to Black Guns Matter and look at what he's doing, follow what he's doing. And I guarantee you, if you really take your feelings out of it and listen to what he's doing, what he's talking about, he will that's how you handle gun violence. It's educating people in the places where it's the worst at on why we have them, so they'll take a pride in the gun ownership instead of taking violence to gun ownership. Like, I'm a proud gun owner. I don't want to hurt nobody. So his approach to it, in my opinion, is probably the best approach out there. So I'm not going to sit there and tell you I got the best idea. I'm telling you that if you really want to know how to do it, I say go follow his page on YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. Listen to his approach, support what he's doing, and I guarantee you that he will have a greater impact if he had the ability and if he had the finances and the ability to reach people on a larger scale. I guarantee you that he will have a better impact on curbing gun violence than all these dumb programs that the government keep coming up with that never does anything or fix anything. His is the number one, in my opinion, by far. His approach to it is by far the number one approach. That's just my opinion. So I'm not going to tell you what my idea is because I think he needs the support to do what he's doing. So I'd rather someone not so much go to my idea. I'd rather them go to Black Guns Matter and go to his idea and go to his channel and do it and see what he's doing. And I'd rather someone go support that if you want to help with gun violence. That's where I would suggest you go. Now, I'm going to get me wrong. I can tell you what my opinion is, but I don't want to tell you my opinion. I want y'all to go to him. Listen, and he probably don't even know. He don't know who I am. He has no clue who I am. This is what I'm trying to tell you. He has no clue. I don't even know the brother personally. Kid you not. I don't know him. But I do respect and I love what he's doing. Like, if that's the reason why I'm telling y'all, If you don't like, if you want to help with violence in the situation, I don't believe in gun violence, but I believe people are irresponsible with guns. And the more you educate these younger people on why you have firearms and what they're really for, and that you can own a firearm and behave yourself, you don't have to act like a fool and crazy person out there and go hurt people. I love his approach. And I think he, by far, in my opinion, has the #1 approach to curbing gun violence, what they call gun violence, because I don't believe in gun violence. But I'm just going, for the sake of conversation, I think he has by far the #1 approach to it. That's just my opinion. Yes, he do. Candyman, you're right. He teaches how to respect them. So that's why I'm saying I'm not going to get here and try to tell y'all all the stuff that I would do. No, I'm going to send you right to the best source that I think possible. And I think the guy that does Black Guns Matter, I think that his approach to curbing it is it perplexes me that these politicians does not make sure that this man has extreme funding, because his approach is the best for. This man should have, right now, in my opinion, should have millions and millions of dollars at his disposal to do whatever it is that he wants to do, because I see how his heart and his passion for it, and he actually has a working approach. That's just my opinion. And I'm just saying, I don't, like I said, one day me and him might cross paths. Maybe one day me and him might talk, have a conversation. But I'm telling y'all, this guy right here, that guy for Black Guns Matter, in my opinion, has the best approach when it comes to going into the inner cities and these places where it's the worst at. And actually, I think his approach to it is by far the best approach that you could possibly come up with when it comes to gun violence, because he's doing it in the way I probably would do it. My brother got to do a full auto, and semi-auto. That's why the people should care about the Constitution, because if the government got guns, you should have some too. You should have just as good of weapons as you can afford. No, my point is government, because government should not be telling you what you can and cannot have. Your pockets should. What you can afford should. Not government. You get what I'm saying? Your pockets should be determining that. Because if government went, listen, they got tanks. Guess who paid for these tanks? We did, taxpayers. So you take my money and go build powerful weapons, but then want to tell me what I can't have. You take my money, go build tanks. You take my money, go buy guns for the military and all this other stuff, but then want to turn around and tell me what I can't have. So you got all this access to all this stuff, but I can't. You got to be out of your mind. If I had enough money to buy a tank, I'd buy a tank. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would. Your money should be. But see, this is where they try to do that too. That's why they try to tax guns, regulate guns, and try to make it complicated. And then they go after all these gun companies to try to run up the cost of guns. Why? Because it's an attack on your right to keep and bear arms all day long. All of these stuff these politicians are doing is trying to disarm America so that they can come in and control your whole life. They're going to determine whether you get to eat or not at some point. So where is the government turning their guns? Like right now, I understand your point. What government is turning their guns on American citizens? And if you, I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about, because so far I haven't seen the government turning guns on American citizens, but I have seen citizens attacking government agents. I have seen citizens trying to run over government agents. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say citizens because I don't know who they are. But my thing is this: if you go attack law enforcement, you get what come with that. If you go attack law enforcement, you get what come with that. It's just like if you attack me, you get what come with that too. I have a right to defend myself whether I'm law enforcement or not. I have the right to defend myself. So if you go attacking somebody, it is what it is. Can a legal foreign national use firearm as a gun range on a tourist visit? I'm not sure about that part, but let me put it to you like this. Being that I'm a person that goes to the range, they're not going to know that. They're going to ask you for your ID, and I guess at that point, you'll find out, but you're only going to know if you go to the range. But I don't know. I'm be honest with you, because that's not something that I would have had to deal with because I'm a citizen. I really don't know. But I'm going to be honest with you, going to the range, the only thing they ask you for is your ID. And as long as you prove that you got ID that you of age or whatever, I don't think that they will stop you. It's not like they do like all these extra in-depth information. So I don't think it would stop you. But I don't know. The only way you're going to know that is to go over there and find out. The Constitution is used as a deterrent. I mean, I read everything else. But here's the thing. You got to understand something. Is that before you start to speak on the Constitution, you need to really, really, really deep dive into it. And you got to also look at the time that it was written, what was going on. That's the two things you have to pay attention to. As when they wrote what they wrote and why they wrote what they wrote, what was happening at the time it was written. And then you will have a better understanding of why. Without that, you're going to get all of these bits and pieces of stuff. You get what I'm saying? The Second Amendment was not written based off of criminals. It has nothing to do with criminals. But that's the way they try to spend it. The United States Constitution, Second Amendment, was written against government tyranny. That was why it was written. Because of government tyranny. So the people have the right to keep their bear arms to protect themselves. That's why I didn't say guns. It said bear arms, meaning any weapon. You have access to any type of weapon possible to protect yourself from government tyrannical government. That's why it was written. Had nothing to do with criminals. They try to add all this other stuff in. Why? Because they did not want, did not want to be under kings and rulership. In order to prevent that, you have to have access to the best weapons possible. That's the reason why it was written. To protecting yourself from criminals is just a byproduct of it. The original intent was to make sure the government did not try to become tyrannical and you had a way to defend yourself. But we have gotten too lax in that, assuming that the government will never do that. And that's why you have to not listen to this stuff and take advantage of your right to keep and bear arms and make sure you're good as possible, wherever your money allows you to do. In order to keep that First Amendment, you need the second one. Yes, I support the First Amendment, but you're not going to have that First Amendment if you don't have that second one. And it's exactly what Greg said. But anyway, I got to get ready to get up out of here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I really do. Like this is heartfelt, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all. The haters and the hatettes, the lovers and the lovettes, the supporters and the haters, all of them. I don't have no beef with no single one of y'all. I really appreciate y'all time because I don't take your time that you spend on my channel for granted at single all. If you hate me, that's fine. I understand you might not agree with my views And you might not agree with my stance on stuff. But one thing I will say to this is that I love and appreciate every single one of y'all and y'all support. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. You don't have to like me. You know what I'm saying? But all I would ask you to do is take some of that and chew on it for a while. Get them understanding. And it might change your perspective because, listen, I had a different perspective at one point in my life about that too. Now, I know this live was supposed to be about dividend investing. I'll go back and change it and say holler and scream or something. I don't know. I'll change the title. And I'll get into that another day. But I just want y'all to know, man, be safe out there. You know what I mean? If you're an American citizen, love your country. Don't let nobody tell you that this ain't your country. Never let nobody tell you that this is not your country. Love your country. Learn about your country and take advantage of all the great things that your country has to offer. Don't let nobody tell you you're a victim, because you're not. I grew up poor. Now, I'm not rich. I'm not going to tell you I'm rich, because I'm not. I kid you not, I'm not rich. But I grew up poor. But one thing I appreciate about this country is that anything I decided I wanted to do, guess what happened? I was actually able to do it. Yes, it had a little bit of obstacles. Yes, there were some hurdles. But guess what? I never gave up. Say what y'all want to say. Hate this country all you want to. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people was fighting to get to this country because, hands down, this is probably the greatest country in the world. I don't know about other countries. That's why I'm not trying to go there. I love where I'm at. I appreciate where I'm at. So I can't tell you that this is the greatest country in the world because I don't know. I know one thing. I love where I'm at. And I appreciate where I'm at. And I ain't trying to go to no other country. I ain't trying to live in no other country. I'm having a ball right here in America. Good old America. And I ain't trying to be nowhere else. This country been good to me. Even though I grew up poor, we didn't have a lot. There were days I didn't know we was going to eat or not. But I never let my circumstances and what I was born into dictate my outcome in life. I found out real early at the age of 12 that if you did something for somebody, they'd be willing to pay you at the age of 12. I said, oh, that's how you make money? By doing stuff for people that's willing to pay you? And it changed everything for me. I never went hungry again. Didn't have a lot, but I never went hungry again. Now my hunger is by choice because I'm trying to lose weight. But you understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We wouldn't have all the great things that we have in America if we didn't have a good, strong, hardworking, solid citizens that put their heart and soul into building this country. And I appreciate every single one of them. I'm not going to be a complainer. I'm going to be a benefactor. And I'm going to contribute my part as much as I can. By trying to make somebody's life a little bit better than the way I found it, along with my own. And with that said, please, and outside of anything I'm talking about, please if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, that is by far the most important thing that I can tell a person. Ron's opinion don't matter. It's my show. But it does matter when it comes to having a relationship with God. That right there is the best opinion I can give you. Give Jesus a try in your life. And I guarantee you that just like it helped me, it'll help you. And with that said, I'm going to get up out of here. Every single one of y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. Hopefully I get to see y'all tomorrow. I'm out of here. Peace.